Think you're middle class? You might actually be broke. Here's the trap destroying millions of families right now. The average American household earning $70,000 a year has less than $1,000 in savings. Meanwhile, families making $40,000 who rent and drive used cars are building actual wealth. The middle class isn't middle anymore. It's a financial prison disguised as success. Here's what nobody tells you. The American dream has become the American debt trap. And if you're living it, you're probably going backwards financially while feeling successful. Let's break down exactly how this trap works, who's profiting from it, and most importantly, how to escape before it's too late. The middle class used to mean financial stability. Today, it means maximum debt with minimum assets. Here's the reality check most families refuse to face. A typical middle-class family owns a $350,000 home with a $280,000 mortgage, 2 car payments totaling $800 monthly, and credit card debt averaging $6,200. Their net worth? Often negative when you subtract what they actually owe. But here's where it gets interesting. They feel wealthy because they have access to credit, nice stuff, and social status. The bank account tells a different story. According to Federal Reserve data, 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. These aren't minimum wage workers. These are teachers, nurses, managers, and engineers trapped in the middle-class money trap. The trap works like this. The more you earn, the more you're expected to spend on appropriate housing, cars, and lifestyle. Society rewards you with approval for making these expensive choices. The banks reward you with more credit to make even bigger mistakes. But there's something even more sinister happening. Financial institutions have weaponized the middle-class identity against middle-class families. They've convinced an entire generation that debt is normal, that monthly payments are just part of adult life, and that you deserve to live beyond your means. This isn't an accident. It's a systematic transfer of wealth from working families to financial institutions. Every mortgage payment, every car loan, every credit card balance is money flowing from your pocket to theirs. They've made debt so normal that families feel weird paying cash for anything expensive. Now let's destroy the biggest middle-class myth. Your home is not an asset, it's a liability that eats money every month. Take Sarah, a marketing manager from Denver who bought a $400,000 house with 5% down. She put $20,000 down, got a 30-year mortgage at 7% interest, and felt like she'd made it. Here's what Sarah's asset actually costs her annually. Mortgage payment, $30,240. Property taxes, $4,800. Insurance, $1,800. Maintenance and repairs, $4,000. Opportunity cost of down payment, $1,400. Total annual cost, $42,240. That's $3,520 per month just to live in her investment. Meanwhile, she could rent a similar place for $2,200 and invest the $1,320 difference in index funds earning 10% annually. But here's the psychological trap. Sarah feels like an owner. She gets tax deductions. Her neighbors respect her. Her family is proud. The monthly bleeding feels like building equity. After 10 years, Sarah will have paid $302,400 in total costs and own maybe $50,000 in actual equity. She could have rented for $264,000 and invested $38,400, which would have grown to approximately $63,000. The house didn't make her wealthy. It made the bank wealthy. Luxonians, if you want more escape routes from financial traps, subscribe now. Here's how the trap gets worse. Every raise triggers lifestyle inflation. Make $50,000, you deserve a $25,000 car. Make $75,000, time for a bigger house and a second car. Make $100,000, now you need the luxury versions of everything. This psychological programming runs deep. Society teaches us that income determines lifestyle, not wealth building. The result? High earners living paycheck to paycheck. Consider Mike, an engineer who went from $60,000 to $120,000 over 5 years. His lifestyle expenses grew from $36,000 to $90,000 annually. His savings rate actually decreased from 40% to 25%, despite doubling his income. The middle-class trap convinced Mike that he earned the right to spend more, not save more. Meanwhile, his coworker Janet kept her expenses at $40,000 and invested the remaining $80,000. Guess who's building real wealth? But here's what's really sinister about lifestyle inflation. It happens gradually, so you don't notice the trap closing. The bigger apartment becomes normal. The car payment becomes normal. The restaurant meals become normal. Before you know it, you need every penny of your high income just to maintain your standard of living. And here's where the psychology gets truly dangerous. People start using their income as proof of their success instead of their net worth. They'll say things like, "I make 6 figures," while living paycheck to paycheck. Income is not wealth. Cash flow is not net worth. The banks love this confusion because it keeps people borrowing. The real trap isn't just the debt. It's the belief that you're doing well because you can afford the monthly payments. Meanwhile, someone making half your income who lives below their means and invests the difference is building actual wealth while you're building an impressive facade. This is why you see teachers retiring as millionaires while doctors die broke. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. Now let's rank the most common middle-class purchases from A+ to F based on their wealth-building potential. F-grade purchases, new cars. They lose 20 to 30% of value the moment you drive off the lot. The average new car payment is $612 for 72 months. That's over $44,000 for something worth maybe $25,000 when you finish paying for it. D-grade purchases, expensive homes in expensive neighborhoods. Yes, real estate can appreciate, but when you factor in interest, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, most homeowners would be better off renting and investing the difference. C-grade purchases, credit card debt for lifestyle purchases, restaurants, vacations, clothes, gadgets. The average credit card interest rate is 24%. If you're paying 24% interest to fund your lifestyle, you're guaranteeing poverty. B-grade purchases, modest homes you can afford without stretching your budget. If your total housing costs are under 25% of income and you're not house poor, home ownership can work. A-grade purchases, used reliable cars paid for in cash. Index funds, emergency funds, high-yield savings accounts, education that increases earning power. Here's the brutal truth. Most middle-class families have their money in F and D-grade purchases while telling themselves they're investing in their future. But let's get specific about the numbers. The average American spends $400 monthly on car payments. Over 10 years, that's $48,000. Invested in index funds averaging 10% annual returns, that same money becomes over $78,000. The average American also spends $3,000 annually eating out. That's $30,000 over 10 years, or nearly $50,000 if invested instead. We're talking about hundreds of thousands in lost wealth over a lifetime, all because people prioritize convenience and status over financial freedom. And don't even get me started on subscription services. The average household now pays over $200 monthly for streaming services, gym memberships, and app subscriptions they barely use. That's $24,000 over 10 years, or nearly $40,000 invested. But here's the deepest part of the trap. It's not just financial, it's psychological. The middle class has become an identity, not an economic reality. People will go into debt to maintain their middle-class image. They'll lease cars they can't afford, buy homes that stretch their budget, and put vacations on credit cards because that's what middle-class people do. This identity trap is why a teacher making $50,000 with no debt and $20,000 in savings feels poor compared to a lawyer making $150,000 with $300,000 in debt and negative net worth. The teacher is actually wealthy. The lawyer is broke. But society rewards the lawyer with respect and status, while the teacher feels like they're falling behind. And here's the most insidious part. Social media has amplified this trap exponentially. People are competing with highlight reels, not reality. They see friends posting vacation photos, new car purchases, and home renovations without seeing the credit card statements and loan paperwork behind the scenes. The result? Families go deeper into debt trying to keep up with lifestyles that are often funded by debt in the first place. It's a race to the bottom disguised as a race to the top. Comment below if you've ever fallen for this trap. Now here's how to escape the middle-class money trap without sacrificing your quality of life. Step 1. Build a $10,000 emergency fund before making any major purchases. This breaks the debt cycle and gives you options when life happens. Step 2. Buy used cars with cash. A 3-year-old Toyota or Honda will serve you just as well as a new one at half the price. No car payments means hundreds of dollars monthly for wealth building. Step 3. Delay homeownership until you have 20% down, can afford the payment on one income, and have money left over for investing. Rent is not throwing money away if you're investing the difference. Step 4. Invest automatically in low-cost index funds. Start with whatever you can, even if it's just $50 monthly. Consistency beats timing every time. Step 5. Resist lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, save it instead of spending it. Let your wealth grow while your lifestyle stays stable. Step 6. Change your identity. Stop thinking of yourself as middle class. Start thinking of yourself as a wealth builder. The habits will follow the identity. But here's the most important step. Understand that building wealth requires rejecting social pressure. Your neighbors might drive nicer cars. Your coworkers might live in bigger houses. Your friends might take fancier vacations. Let them. While they're building debt, you're building wealth. While they're impressing people they don't like with money they don't have, you're buying your freedom. Here's what the real middle class actually looks like in today's economy. They rent or own modest homes. They drive reliable used cars. They have emergency funds. They invest consistently. They live below their means and build wealth steadily. They don't look rich, but they are free. They don't have impressive Instagram feeds, but they have impressive investment accounts. They're not keeping up with the Joneses because they understand the Joneses are broke. The fake middle class lives in financial prison while appearing successful. The real middle class builds wealth while appearing ordinary. Which one do you want to be? Here's your challenge. Calculate your actual net worth right now. Assets minus debts. If it's negative or close to zero despite having a middle-class income, you're in the trap. The good news? You can escape. It starts with one decision. Choose wealth over status. Choose freedom over appearances. Choose your future self over your current image. Start small. Open a high-yield savings account today. Set up an automatic transfer of $50 monthly. Buy your next car with cash, even if it means driving your current car longer. These small steps compound into life-changing results. What's the biggest money trap you've seen friends fall for? Drop it in the comments and I'll feature the best responses in a future video. Remember, Luxonians, the middle class isn't about income, it's about mindset. You can earn minimum wage and build wealth with the right habits. You can earn 6 figures and stay broke with the wrong ones. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Welcome to Luxona, where millionaires are made.